a little bit nervous about going for the berries. These are the Nannas, the culprits. And they've got you actually wondering now, I mean, ever since this whole kind of hep A from the Nanna berries, which I think hep A is such a weird sounding disease. Every time they've been talking this week about people having hep A, I keep feeling like it's like I keep thinking, I know it's not right, but it's like sounds like a Maori person, like a Maori bloke going, yeah, I got hepatitis A. It just seems, I mean, you shouldn't laugh at hepatitis, I know, but that's what I kept hearing, like it was some sort of Kiwi affectation of the hepatitis. But anyway, since this whole kind of, hepatitis A on the frozen berries thing, it's really made people question, food quality. Like, what are you putting in your mouth? Like, do you actually know what it's going, where has it been? Where has that thing been that's been in your mouth? It's a bit like the sort of equivalent of having a one-night stand and picking up a drunk backpacker, in town and going, well, if it's come from overseas, you don't know where that person's been, you don't know where they are, you don't know the person. You're better off, if you're going to have a one-night stand, do it with someone you know. I don't know if that works, actually. Sorry, you shouldn't compare berries and sex with people. That's wrong. But I just think it's just a little bit weird, this whole kind of, where the berries have been, because I think it's actually it's a little bit worrisome, because you have to eat, really have to eat your local food, don't you? You have to know you've grown it yourself and you haven't put poo on it. I think that's the main thing. And that's what we're worried about. The berries, these berries, have been contaminated with poo. That's how you get hepatitis A. They keep saying hepatitis A, but nobody's saying poo enough. It's from poo. Did you know that? Actual poo that comes out your bum. Now, they're sending people overseas looking at food processing, food quality, packing and labelling. And I think they're missing, I think the most important part of the process is, and the biggest question, how did the poo get on the berry? Now, that's the question I would be asking if I was working in food hygiene. Like, how do you get a poo on a berry? Like, I can understand if you had poo on a cucumber, because the cucumber is something you probably put up your bum, isn't it? Like, you would think, oh, well, I'm not saying I do put cucumbers up my bum, but if you're going to put something up, like any orifice, like a bum or something, where there is poo, if you're going to do that, it's a more likely object, isn't it? It's more likely because you go, oh, I get a bit of a thrill out of that, because, that's sort of, so I would expect that, I would wash the cucumber. But I wouldn't expect people to put blueberries up there. Like, I can't imagine, like, one at a time, like 1, 2, 3, then, 24, 25. I mean, you get the whole punnet up there after a while. I just don't know what thrill there would be in packing your bum full of blueberries, whether it's some sort of weird sort of thing. And the weirdest thing is, if you pack your bum full of blueberries, and it's not just normal, they're frozen. Like, you're not just getting off on, they're putting frozen blueberries up there. I mean, that is weird, I think. I think if you're going to, I like not to judge people about their sexual weirdness, but putting frozen blueberries up your ass is pretty out there. And I thought, my God, this is like the fruit equivalent of the Richard Gere gerbil, sort of the gerbil up the bum thing. Maybe, where's Richard Gere at the moment? I mean, is he in China? Has he been working in a fruit packing plant, sort of packing blueberries up his ass? Because we know he liked the gerbil experience. Anyway, I guess it's probably slightly less likely. Like, maybe, but you have to ask the questions. I think you really do have to ask the questions, because it may not be likely, but it doesn't mean that it won't not happen, because people do weird shit all the time. If you work in an office, right, and there's a photocopier, that someone is going to have a crack at photocopying their crack, basically. Someone in the office will do it eventually, and that will just happen. It just happens. So if you've got blueberries, I guess it's their fruit. It stands to reason someone's going to try and have a crack at them as well, put them up their bum. I mean, it's just a matter of, it's just human. I mean, it's not something we like to admit, but human beings are pretty perverse. They do some pretty bloody weird shit. I mean, the news is full of it. And just when you think you've never heard anything that weird, they do something weirder. Like, my husband used to work as a nurse in emergency, and he said the weirdest thing anyone ever did was Saturday night was like the bum night. He said people put things up their bottom a lot, apparently, but mainly on Saturday nights. I don't know why. I think Saturday nights is more like Friday night you go out, but Saturday night you think, what will I put up my bum? Is there any blueberries here? But anyway, he said the weirdest thing anyone put up their bum was a jar of Vegemite, which I think is like, I have never ever thought about putting Vegemite on my bum. Like I just never thought I would do that. Like, it just seems, I don't know. Apparently, the story goes, you know, they were making a sandwich and they couldn't get the lid off. So they needed a bit more grip or something like that. Anyway, it went up, it got stuck. Because it goes up. If you put anything up there, it doesn't stop. It actually has reverse kind of action. It'll take up there. So I think if anyone put berries up their bum, it would keep going up. You know, that's one of the problems. So that would be my first line of inquiries. It would be about who is inserting blueberries up their bum. The second one, which is probably, you know, more obvious, is that there's poo in here because someone was packing the blueberries in the bag, right? And they went, ooh, I need a poo. And then they go to the toilet, right? And then they come back and they go, I didn't wash my hands. Doesn't matter. It's going to Australia. And it goes in like that. Like there's poo on the hand from not hand washing. And I know the question is like, do you actually look at hand washing techniques? But I would ask a bigger question. Who poos at work? I don't know. Is it just me? But I've never pooed at work. I am a very private person when it comes to pooing. Like, I'll only poo at home. Like, I think if you're pooing at work, I would be questioning that you're even employable. Like, if you're the sort of person that can just go, I can just poo anywhere, I don't think you have boundaries. I think you can go to other people's houses and do a poo. I think you can just do a poo in a public toilet. And personally, I don't think that's natural. And I don't think it's normal. I think pooing should be kept at home. If I go on a holiday, I don't poo the whole time till I get home, which has a benefit because it actually makes me really happy to get home after 2 weeks because it's been quite unpleasant towards the end. Anyway, so all I'm saying is when it comes to these blueberries, as we now call them, poo berries, I think I've been getting so many antioxidants and I've been actually, you know, reseeding my bowel at the same time by having these. So I guess you can either make a decision of actually boycotting it or you can actually start to build up a poo tolerance just to see how you go. And eventually, it's not bad. It's all right. Have another one. I don't know what the likelihood of this is, but I think it's good to get a little bit of immunity up.